I'm really passionate about men's behaviour change and intervening with domestic violence because I want to live in a society where everybody's safe, and that's only going to happen if we as individuals step in and do something about it. We're talking about power dynamics in a relationship. We're talking about how decisions are made. This extends to the bedroom, and we do a lot of work around the importance of enthusiastic consent during sex, and a big part of that is talking about non-fatal strangulation. It seems like there's an increase in the use or expectation to use strangulation in the bedroom. The practice of restricting airways or impacting someone's ability to breathe during sex, it's often given terms like breath play. It's often called choking and is a form of restricting blood flow and oxygen to the brain. Some of the beliefs that men have talked about, they'll think that if it's consensual, it's okay. Believe that it's safe if you only go so far, or if you have a safe word, which doesn't make sense because how can you say a safe word if you're being strangled? When you really get down to it and you start unpacking things with men and they start speaking from the heart, you actually see that no one knows what they're doing. They feel insecure about their performance in the bedroom, and so they're trying to please their partner the best way they can. So when they see this as a practice in pornography or literature, they're taking that guidance and thinking that's what they need to do. There's almost an expectation that it's not good enough sex if it's not scaring someone or pushing the limits in some way. And I think in reverse, the expectation from women is that men enjoy this, so I need to engage in this to make him happy. And I think those pressures, either way, they're actually putting that person at risk. The risks to women include damage to the blood vessels, can deprive the brain of oxygen and cause irreparable brain damage, and it can even result in death. The dangers for men include risk of damage to their partner, and I think we need to look beyond that and also look at the impact of how do you want to explain that to her family if you've given her a brain injury for the rest of her life because you strangled her during sex. The other thing we need to also consider is, although consent can be used as a defence, it could still be considered manslaughter because there was not the proper precautions made and someone has died as a result of the man's actions. When a man puts his hands around a woman's throat, it's the ultimate sign of control. It's holding their life in his hands. I think it's really important that men understand there's a very real risk that can come into the relationship outside of the bedroom as well, and to open doors towards domestic violence. The reaction from the men has been quite interesting. A lot of them have been quite shocked. One of the biggest reactions we get is when men realise that women can lose bladder control and bowel control from strangulation. I think it takes it from that fetish idea to something really uncomfortable. And I think we need to lean into that because that is reality. In moments, someone can lose control of their bodily functions. The transition from sexual strangulation to someone's death or permanent disability is measured in seconds, not minutes. Service providers need to be willing to have these uncomfortable conversations with men because at the end of the day, if they don't, the ramifications are huge. When there's strangulation within a relationship, the risk of that woman being murdered escalates by 750%. Talking about sexual strangulation can be done safely. It's really important when I'm working with a man that he feels connection and he feels he's listened to because he is a person. I find as a professional, I actually need to instigate it. When I see an opening in a conversation and I'll ask, have you heard about sexual strangulation? And then I'll ask permission, can we have a yarn about that? And I'll ask them, what have you heard about it? And they'll often talk about mates talking about it and those sorts of things. I'm not here to judge him because whenever someone feels judged, they're going to stop talking. What we want to do is we want to have an open, honest, frank discussion. It's my job to support him in making safer, better decisions. What I do is I am working for women and children through men, and that's my end goal.